Hello, welcome to this Thursday's guided meditation, Dharma talk, Q&A, etc. What a time we live in. It is crazy right now in this, what is it, something like fourth month of lockdown, where we're getting 1 million new COVID cases in just under 2 weeks in just the US. What an amazing what an amazing statistic. I just can't even describe what that does to my heart when I hear that. So here we are, everyone, in the meditation bunker, ready to share with you the gift of meditation like we do every week. This meditation, as usual, on Thursday nights is sponsored by San Francisco Dharma Collective. So yay, San Francisco Dharma Collective. Thank you so much for helping to make this possible. I love all you guys at SFDC, all you human beings and animal companions and so on. Tonight, we are going to, as usual, dive right into the meditation. We're going to waste no time. I basically just kind of spiel here at the beginning just a little bit in order to give people time to show up. Otherwise, we would just start instantly and immediately. So let's generously and compassionately give people a little bit of time to show up. As we're doing that, though, of course, you can get ready for your meditation, which as usually will last an hour. I got ready tonight by putting on my cosmic shirt. This is one of my cosmic shirts as an inspiration for this sit. And beyond that, what you can do is if you're wearing glasses, you might want to take those off, set those aside, make sure that your phone and any other device that's going to, ping you in any way, that's all turned off. And, you've turned off the cat or whatever, and nothing's going to disturb you except the contents of your own crazy mind during this guided meditation. Other than that, as usual, most people sit for meditation, but of course, even in the most classic Buddhist text, you're allowed to lay down if you want. As long as you can stay awake, laying down meditation is fine. You may wish to do that with like a bolster or a pillow under your knees, so your lower back is flat. You can meditate standing up. Very good for staying awake. Lots of people do, kind of the Tai Chi thing. You stand with your knees unlocked, your knees slightly bent, and your whole body kind of lowered just a bit. So you're in a stance slightly. You kind of put your hands like this, although lower, down around your belly. And that makes a really, really nice standing meditation stance. You're also allowed scripturally to meditate walking around. So you could potentially do this guided meditation walking. I wouldn't recommend it, as we're going to do a lot of relaxation of the body in a way that might be uncomfortable if you're trying to walk. You might bump into things or whatever. But other than that, walking is fine. So, we're just gonna bust out from the Pali Canon and say you can do this meditation while rowing a boat, while dancing. You can even interpretively dance this meditation if you wish. You can do this meditation while dangling from a bungee cord attached to the top of the Empire State Building. You are allowed to do this meditation anywhere at any time, except if you're driving. Do not do it while driving or operating heavy machinery. Okay, let's begin. So I'm going to just assume you're seated. And if you're seated, then we want that lower back to be curved in just slightly. So that makes your whole spine go straight up. Feels really nice when the lower back is got that little curve in it. So the opposite of the hunched, where the lower back is curved out, and you hunch down, and everything goes. Instead, lower back comes in just a little bit, and the whole spine goes straight up. And that feels immediately good, right? And then the whole rest of the body. So imagine your spine is sort of like a lodgepole pine, right? Like a long, super straight pine tree. And the rest of the whole body is just kind of effortlessly hanging off of that trunk. So you don't need any muscle tension to hold anything up. Just the trunk is nice and straight, and the whole rest of the body is just delicately, beautifully, easily suspended from that upright trunk. So there's this element, it's like Buckminster Fuller tensegrity, like there's this element of structural strength, the spine, and then there's the tension part, which isn't tense in this case, but is called tension. It's the rest of the body kind of hanging, as it were, or dangling or suspended from the spine. So there's this beautiful dialectic between structure and fluidity, or between tension and rigidity that work. It's very interesting, right? So sitting upright in this way, I want you to either close your eyes or leave them open. That's up to you. But I want you to begin doing your shamatha with an object. So you're focusing on something in particular rather than nothing in particular. And in this case, the shamatha, usually it's your breath. Usually it's either the breath sensation at the nose or the breath sensation in the belly. I often say you can do a visualization, which that's super powerful if you can do it. It's very high level concentration. You could do a mantra, that's great concentration. You can do a visual and a mantra, visualization and a mantra together, that's even better concentration. But tonight I want you to meditate, if you want to go with the guidance, I want you to meditate specifically on relaxed body sensations. So not, every week while you're doing whatever you're doing, I'm leading you through a guided relaxation while you may be focusing on something else. But tonight, focus on the sensations in the body of relaxation. Okay, so that's your object. And I'll lead you through my eye is doing this funny thing. I'll lead you through the, as always, the guided relaxation. But in this case, you can actually follow it as instructions for meditation, because we're using these relaxed body sensations as our actual meditation object. So let's go with that and begin by, as usual, relaxing your scalp and your forehead, allowing your eyebrows and your eyelids and your eye muscles to relax, and even the muscles of in your eye. You want the iris itself to relax. You want your eyes to defocus, or those muscles. And get your whole eye region to just let go, because we look at screens all day, especially now we're spending all our time staring at screens. Our eyes get very, staring at a screen, it's a very tight focus. Your eyes are tense and forward, right? So imagine if you were just tensing your hand all day, I want you to relax your hand, right? Just let go and even stretch it out a bit. In this case, our eye muscles are tense all day, focus. And so what I want you to do is relax your eye muscles. Let go, release that focus. There's this whole theory that, of the different kind of mental state you have when your mind is relaxed, when your eyes are relaxed and your focus is spread wide, versus when your eyes are narrow and tight. The narrow, tight eyes in evolution, in animals, that's hunting, animals with their eyes forward that come together narrow. It's this kind of aggressive thing. We all know that when someone looks at you like that, it can have a feeling of aggression. And when we relax our eyes and allow them to unfocus and even, the eyes themselves to relax, and then the focus between the two eyes to just relax. So you're essentially focusing on the horizon and keeping them very wide. This is gentle, right? This is easy. There's no aggression in it. It's watchful. So it keeps us very alert, very awake, but awake and clear without that kind of laser sharp, aggressive focus. So having your eyes like this, relaxed like this, is very helpful. So then we're relaxing our cheeks, our mouth, our lips, our jaw, making sure the upper and lower teeth are not touching, and allowing your tongue to just float as if on a cloud in your mouth. So the tongue is utterly buoyant and light and relaxed. And notice how good that feels. Now, when I tell people to relax, oftentimes they go right for everything that's not relaxed and start working on it. And that's exactly the opposite of what I want you to do. Just allow things to relax and focus on what does relax. Focus on what is at ease and what just lets go, and really give that your attention. If there are things that are really tight and really not relaxing, you can invite them to relax, but then don't sit there focusing on that, because then you're meditating on tightness. Then you're meditating on what's going wrong, so to speak. What I want you to do is meditate on what's going right. So feel that relaxation in your scalp, your forehead, your whole face. Feel it very deeply and very clearly. And notice how it impacts the whole body. Each little moment of relaxed sensation in the face echoes by allowing release to happen through the entire body, and just takes you deeper and allows you to become more open and more soft. Right? This is softness. This is kindness to the body. Continuing, allow your throat to relax, your neck, your trapezius muscles, your shoulders. If your shoulders are super relaxed, they kind of go down and they rotate open and go kind of down and back. And just allow your shoulders to release and relax and let go. All that burden, just let the burden go. Drop the burden, everyone, just drop it. Now is dropping the burden time. Allow your arms and elbows and wrists and hands and fingers to release and relax. Your arms should become like wet noodles, like wet rags, like wet seaweed, completely and utterly limp. No tension at all. And again, we use our phones and we use keyboards. Let all that go. Just let it go, let it go, let it go. Your hands are just mush. Really nice, relaxed, wonderful, good feeling mush. So feel that in your hands and your arms and your shoulders and your neck and your face and your head, all that releasing and all that relaxing and all that letting go. And notice how good that feels, and notice how it soaks into the entire body, into the entire being, draining away tension, draining away worry, draining away care, draining away problems, and just leaving ease, leaving kindness, allowing yourself to feel some kindness, to feel some gentleness and some softness and some caring and some healing, right? Just notice that now. And allow then your chest and your upper back to release and relax and let go. And your diaphragm, if you have any sense at all about having control or even sensation in your diaphragm. If you're a long-term meditator, you probably do. If you're not, maybe you don't. But if you've got real connection to your diaphragm, then see if you can just let that release and let that let go, right? It's one of the only muscles that still is really doing its job. It's really working while you're meditating. but still it can be doing its job in kind of a minimal effort sort of way, really relaxed, kicking back, taking it easy, letting go of knots kind of way, and moving on down your belly. Belly relaxes and opens. The belly relaxes and opens. The whole body, boom, just feels that impact and relaxes and releases and lets go even more completely. Just let go completely, deeper than you ever thought it was possible to completely and totally and utterly release everything. And then feel your hips opening, relaxing, spreading, releasing your thighs, your knees, your legs, lower legs, your ankles, your feet, your toes, just draining away tension. Any remaining tension in the whole body is just draining out your feet, draining out your feet, draining out your feet until your entire body is just at ease and at peace, and it's open and it's at rest. And I want you to continue to meditate on these sensations of peace and rest and ease and kindness and gentleness in the body for a few minutes here. So let's do that together. Good. So, what I'd like you to do now is the thing we've done previously, where we are staying with these body sensations on the in breath. So, the in breath, we're still using the body as a meditation object. But on the out breath, we feel the breath going out into space, and we allow the mind to go with it, and the mind just dissolves into space on the out breath. So, staying in body contact on the in breath, it's kind of like the form part. Then on the out breath, we just feel the mind dissolving into space, into emptiness. So, let's just do that for a few minutes. Good. Now let's go ahead and switch. On the next out breath, as your mind dissolves into space, just stay as space. And on the next in breath, we let go of the breath entirely. We let go of any meditation object of any sort and just stay dissolved into space so that we remain uninvolved with any content. It's just awareness of awareness itself The mind resting in awareness, relaxing the core of your mind, dropping the ball. Every time your mind picks up the ball, just drop the ball. That's what we mean when we say remain uninvolved or shamatha without an object. Right? We're just relaxing the core of the mind, allowing awareness itself to just be space with no particular content at all. Content such as thoughts, such as external sounds, such as body sensations may continue to arise, but we're not really paying attention to them at all. We're just allowing awareness to rest in awareness. If the mind grabs onto a thought, starts hanging onto it, following it, just when you notice that, just relax the mind and allow the thought to run off, and the mind relaxes back to its open stillness. If it starts following a body sensation, even breathing or whatever, just relax, let go, don't try to follow that at all. This, just like we relaxed the body, we're now relaxing the mind. We're staying awake and alert, very bright, very crisp, very clear, brilliant awareness, but very, very, very relaxed. So relaxed, we're not following any content in any way. This is awareness of awareness, just awareness resting in itself, not paying particular attention to anything at all, but remaining divinely uninvolved. Continuing to allow the mind to just release and relax and let go. Anytime it grips onto anything at all, just relax, just open, release, let go, come back to allowing the mind to be dissolved into space entirely. Just aware space, completely free, completely relaxed, completely at ease. Good. Now, allowing the mind to contact content again, to notice things. Just notice how the mind does not need awareness itself, does not need to reach out to contact anything. It's already aware. The world itself is already arising in awareness. The body is arising in awareness. Emotions and thoughts are arising in awareness. The whole world appears in awareness. Awareness contains the universe in our experience. So, noticing this quality, I want to zero in tonight on the body. We're going to look at the body in its elemental composition using the metaphorical elements, not the modern chemical elements, the ancient elements, to look at different aspects of the body. And so allowing awareness itself to do the investigation. We don't need any attention for this. We don't need any tightness. Just notice these aspects arising in awareness. So let's begin by noticing the earth element in the body. So feeling anything heavy, dense, anything solid and maybe cold. Think of the bones, think of the teeth, think of things like the fingernails, all the parts of the body that have this earth or rock or stone like solidity. Thinking how actual limestone is made of, often made of the bones of ancient animals. Our bones and rocks are very similar in certain ways. So just allow awareness to feel into the heaviness, the solidness, the earthiness of various parts of the body. It doesn't just have to be bones and teeth. It can be anything that feels like earth, like dust, like solid and heavy. And just tune into that now. Allowing awareness to just see this rock or earth-like quality arising and passing in awareness. Utterly empty, utterly awake, and yet seemingly solid, seemingly heavy, seemingly sturdy. It's the earth element that gives us structure. So feel that sense of structuredness, orderliness, of a lattice work, or of the uprightness of the spine, or the solidity of various body parts, and really tune into that pleasant sense of stability and solidity. Good. And let's go with the water element. So this, of course, includes all the fluids in the body, such as blood or lymph or whatever, but also things like the joints. There's water in the joints, or there's fluid in the joints. There's fluid inside the eyes. There's the water in every cell. And notice how all this fluid gives the body a sense of course, fluidity, flowingness, a adaptability, flexibility. So really tune into this water element, feeling that sense of permeation that fluids have, that sense of the ability to take any shape, and feel all that fluid everywhere in the body. The sense of fluidity, the sense of the water element arising in awareness, giving the body its flexibility. Good. Next, allow awareness to notice the air element in the body. Most obviously, of course, in the lungs, feeling the air, filling the lungs and emptying out of the lungs. But furthermore, the air dissolved in the blood being the oxygen dissolved in the blood, the gas dissolved in the blood being delivered to all the cells. And anciently, we would even think of the mind as being a kind of wind or air, something that is insubstantial but tremendously powerful, like how the wind can move an entire ship across the ocean. The mind was thought to be made of winds, made of the air element. So even thought partakes of this super mobile, super swift, ever changing, highly impermanent air element. Just feel that buoyancy, feel that swiftness, feel the beautiful clarity of air. Good. Now let's go with the fire element. Again, in the ancient way of understanding this, the fire element would be present in the digestion. Digestion is a kind of fire. We oxidize our food. It's there in the muscles. It gives us the motor quality. It's our power. It's our ability to do work. This incredible energy of fire. It's there in the fact that our bodies are warm. If you hold a piece of ice in your hand, it melts because your hand is warm. That's the fire element. So notice this fire element, this aspect of the fire element arising in awareness. Good. And now looking into space, the fifth element, what in Sanskrit is called akash, space element. Space element is there in all the cavities of the body, all the, like the inside of the lungs, the inside of the stomach, the space in your torso that allows for the breathing to occur. There's many, many spaces in the body. Think about how the air itself goes through your whole head, and even the alimentary canal is a long open space. Space is what gives the body the ability to even come into being. It gives it room to happen. But it also is utterly important within the body. So notice this space element, this room. It's as if we were talking about a cup. A cup made of clay still requires space to be a cup. And in the same way, the human body requires space. So feel this space element arising in awareness. They say that the closest metaphor to awareness itself is space. The only difference being that awareness is aware. It's like space with consciousness. But notice this space in the body and how the body requires and is even made partially from space. Now, just for a while, notice rising in awareness all 5 elements: earth, water, air, fire, and space, mixing together, falling apart, mixing together, falling apart, braiding together, creating a body that moves, that breathes, that expresses, that lives, that moves into death, and then falls apart again into just void. Over and over again, in each moment, the body assembling and disassembling into and from these constituent elements. And now, on the next out breath, allow all the body's elements to dissolve, body to become space, and then to become void. Seeing the emptiness of the body, and the earth element returns to the earth to become dirt and mud and rocks and clay. And the water element returns to the rivers and rain clouds and ocean. And the air element returns to the winds. And the fire element returns to the volcanoes, the core of the earth. And the space element returns to make room in all the caverns in the earth and also around the earth. So the body's utterly gone, utterly dissolved, utterly vanished. And there's just awareness of awareness. And now noticing new earth, fresh from the void, absolutely pure and brilliant, vibrant earth returning, fresh, clear water element returning and braiding together with earth, pure, clean air element, all new, all fresh, returning and mixing together with water and earth. Fire element then returning clear and bright and mixing with the other three. And finally, space element, always pure, always clear space element. The five of them mixing together and churning and weaving into a body and then falling apart again, mixing into a moving, loving, living, breathing, eating, shitting, dying body, and then falling apart again. With each breath, the body coming together and then falling apart. Coming together on the in-breath into this fantastical, organic splendor that is your body, and then on the out-breath, just dissolving into space over and over again. Feel the absolute freshness, the cleanliness, the vibrancy, the brilliance, the joy, the energy of this brand new body of every moment. This brand new, energized, bright, spectacular body that's arising in awareness and then dissolving away. Rising in awareness and dissolving away moment by moment. Always new, always vivid and bright, always highly energized, exciting, and also able to rest and relax and let go. Good. Now let's go ahead and end the meditation. You can allow, if you want to, the sense of the body to come together and stay together. And feel free to take your body and move it and stretch it, wiggle it. Look around the room, orient yourself, and if you have reports or questions coming up, of course, as usual, feel free to type those in the chat window and we'll try to get to them. Maybe you need a drink of a beverage in the meantime. In a way, that meditation contains a little bit of Maranasati. As you know, I'm really into death meditation. We do death sangha once a month usually, although we are going to take a death sangha break in August. But when we notice the elements dissolving or allow the elements to that constitute the body, when we allow them to decohere and decouple and all drain away back into the earth and the sky, that is a form of both deconstruction. We're doing a kind of deconstruction and also a kind of Maranasati. It's a death meditation. Now, it's interesting in deconstruction, we're usually either, in Buddhism anyway, we're usually either doing the 5 skandhas and looking at those skandhas or the heaps, the kind of original Buddhist analysis of what makes up the experience of being human. So you might divide or deconstruct your humanness and look at it, or your human experience, and look at it through the lens of the 5 skandhas. But also there's a very typical Buddhist meditation, also Hindu meditations, where we look at the elemental deconstruction of the body. And that's what we were doing here. So it's a kind of deconstruction meditation, taking experience and looking at it in this elemental way, which of course, again, we're concerned with experience. We're concerned with our own internal experience, not with trying to make it, scientific or somehow, scientifically valid. So in experience, these 5 elements are poetic ways of understanding these different aspects of experience that I think work really well. Whereas, let's say, the traditional elements or the, elemental table of science doesn't really work for our kind of internal sense of experience. So that's what we're doing here. We're both contacting Maranasati, the remembrance of death, remembering that being a body or having a body or time in our body, however we want to look at it, is an incredibly precious gift. It's a rare gift and it's limited. It will go away after a while. But also that, the body is amazingly beautiful. It's amazingly powerful. It's a precious gift. And also that it can be thought of in this deconstructive way. So we tend to have this sense of our body as like a potato or something, like this solid object that is more like a machine. We're always giving it metaphors like a car or something. And of course, there are some aspects that are like that. Maybe you feel your joint and it has that kind of interesting erector set mechanical thing going on sometimes, right? But that's not really how the body thinks about itself. The body's experience of the body is more like these elements. There's the sense of solidity, the sense of fluidity, the sense of motion and buoyancy, the sense of power and warmth and intensity, and the sense of space, right? And that's much more like how the body sees itself. When you tune in to the feeling, the senses in the body, they feel more like that, right? So in terms of our experience, which is what we're concerned with in meditation, that's That's a very interesting, powerful way to notice the body. And of course, also connect with the emptiness of body sensation, also connect with the emptiness there as well. So let's look at some questions we're getting here. Got some thanks there. Thank you. It's always so much fun to lead these meditations. I'm having trouble having awareness of awareness. It's the it should be, it actually is, whether you know it or not, the least troublesome thing you could ever have. You're already aware. Are you awake right now? Then you're aware. If you're aware that anything is going on, then you're aware. And just noticing that you're aware is awareness of awareness. I try my best to let go of thoughts as they come, but I never quite feel like I am just existing in space. What is it supposed to feel like? Do you feel like you're existing right now? When you were, just allowing the mind to remain uninvolved in phenomena, it's not supposed to particularly feel like anything. It might feel different to different people, but it's not something to struggle with at all. If you're struggling, then just drop that entirely. Struggling is hanging on, right? So if you're finding it to be difficult, just let go of the difficulty or the sense that it's difficult. If you're trying to figure it out, what's this supposed to be like? The figuring out is exactly what I want you to let go of. So just relax. Give up on figuring it out. If you think it's supposed to be like someone else's experience, which is, of course, we compare. That's how we work in the world. Just let go of that comparison, let go of the supposed, just drop it. Anything at all that comes up, just drop it. Relax the core of your mind. I'll say it again. If you're trying to figure it out, that's wrong. If you're trying to do it right, that's wrong. If you're trying to do anything at all there, just drop it. Don't do anything else but relax the mind. Every time it grabs onto something, relax. Every time it tenses up, relax. If thoughts are happening, that's fine. Just remain uninvolved. They can be like sounds in the background or whatever. If there's a lot of thought happening, that's fine. There's birds chattering outside too. We are just remaining divinely uninvolved, letting go, letting go, letting go, letting go. That we all have this. We have like a fixation and a tightness that wants the mind to do something. It wants to do, and it wants to solve problems by doing it, and that's great, right? That's a good thing to have. But in this meditation, for once, just like at night you go to sleep, or just like when we sit, we relax the body, we want to see if we can find that grabby, Velcro-like tension in the mind that thinks it has to do something. Want to just relax that. And if it keeps snapping back into tension, that's okay. Just relax it again. So we haven't done this in a while, so let's go back to the core exercise, which is take your hand or both hands and make a fist. Do this with me right now. Make fists and do it tight, 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 tight till it hurts. Okay, that's tension. Now I want you to relax. Okay, feel that relaxation. Okay. Now let's do it again. Make a fist or two fists, tense, 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 tight, 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 tight. That's tension. That's doing something. Now relax. That's letting go. That's dropping the ball. That's doing nothing. So some people want to wrestle with me on this and say the letting go is doing something. And, you get to say what you want about it. But for me, the tension is taking an action, and letting go is just dropping the action, dropping the ball, releasing, right? So every time you're like, I want to do this meditation correctly. That's grabbing. And what I want you to do is just relax your hand, relax your mind. No grabbing. Every time there's a thought and you're like, oh, there's so many thoughts and I'm thinking them. Who cares? You're breathing in and out. Your heart is pumping and your mind is sitting there thinking. Who cares? It's just happening in the background. We're not involved. So if you're tensing up, I'm thinking, I shouldn't be thinking, I got to control the thinking. No, nothing like that. Just relax your mind. Relax. Not doing. Doesn't mean the mind is going to go blank and there'll be no thoughts necessarily. That could happen, but it won't happen by trying. It'll happen by just letting go, remaining uninvolved, relaxing, opening, release, gentle, soft mind. Okay. So this is how we're doing this practice of relaxing the core of the mind. Every time the mind does this, just relax. Notice that any kind of struggle, any trying to figure it out, any trying to be a certain way that you think it's supposed to be, that's just more tensing up. Relax, let go. Okay, Jean-Francois is saying, so far in my experience, even when I let go of all the grossest phenomena, I feel that attention still falls back to some vast dark space. And maybe I imagined that or made it up. Yeah, and you wonder if you're grasping onto the space. For now, if what's happening is you're relaxing and there's just this vast dark space, let's just be with that. That might still be a tiny bit of phenomena, but it's sure a lot less than thinking and doing and right? Vast dark space, that's okay. Like I said, the awareness is the most like space. It's space that's aware. So if it seems like this kind of vast outer space thing, that's okay. Let's just be with that you can rest in that. Not a body sensation, not a thought, not an outside sound, not the breath, nothing like that. Sometimes we do an exercise where we step out the back of our head into vast space, right? Sometimes I even call this meditation on vast, spacious awareness. So don't worry if for now you think that there's part of that that's like a mental image that's visualizing. It might be there, but if it is, that's very subtle. Still there, but it's subtle compared to, like a body sensation or whatever. And so you can work with that for now. Okay. So very, very good. This is all super interesting. The elemental thing, I have one question on that. Yaroslav is saying, are embodied emotions an element? Most people would say that, you get to divide up these elements in any way you want. It's a metaphor, right? So lots of people in the West traditionally would say that the emotions are all water element. No matter what the emotion, they're all water element. Other people would say that like anger is fire element and sadness is earth element because like heavy, so you get to decide how to divide everything up in this elemental scheme because it's just a poetic metaphor, right? And so make it work for you. Do the emotions feel like they're all water, or do they feel like some are fire and some are earth and some are water? Go with your own feeling rather than some right answer. Patrick is asking, after a lot of meditation practice, do thoughts tend to disappear or become less frequent, or do thoughts arise even in expert practitioners? It just depends. For some practitioners of certain types of meditation, thought becomes much less, explicit verbal thought becomes less noticeable much of the time. As they're walking around during the day. Visual thought might still be there, or that might become less prominent. For other meditators, or expert meditators or whatever, thought just isn't even an issue. Like, sure, if I'm doing a jhana or doing a deep practice, thought might disappear entirely. Sometimes during the day, it disappears entirely. You can hear sometimes, even when I'm guiding a meditation, it'll just disappear for a while, and the sentence stops until it starts up again. So sometimes it's not there, but other times it's arising like crazy, and it's just not a problem. For me, it's just like breathing or something. Thoughts are happening. They're a beautiful fountain of activity. They're not, fixated or driven or that kind of thing usually. So I think that the obsession that our thoughts are bad and we have to get rid of our thoughts is really actually kind of misguided. Just like we want to befriend the body, we want to befriend the mind. And the more we do our practices, especially not just meditation only, but meditation practice together with psychological type practices, working with our complexes, working with our emotional patterns and our various messed up things inside us, and working with that and cleaning it out and so on. I think of that scene in at the Emerald City in The Wizard of Oz, where it's like ho, 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 tree, and a couple of tra-la-las. That's how we, clean the dirt away in the merry old land of Oz. And all the, they've got a big buffer on the Tin Man, and they're combing up the lion and everything. That's what we're doing with a lot of our meditation, right? We are, in our psychology work, we're actually going in there and cleaning everything and straightening it up and mucking out the garbage, and just making our psychology, even as empty or as dreamlike or as much of a fantasy our mind even is, we all know that we can still go in there and correct and fix the psychology so that the mind is sharp and bright and well functioning. It's creative and it's kind and helpful and playful and good at doing the things it wants to do, right? We can work with our psychology like that. So, and in that case, no matter how many thoughts are happening, they're helpful, useful, creative, fun thoughts, right? So I really want to emphasize that it's not about not thinking. If you just want to not think, a little brain surgery at home will will give you that right away. Yeah, please don't do that. But not thinking is not some kind of fix it for life. What we want to do is have beautiful thinking, clear thinking, helpful thinking, creative thinking, right? And sometimes when we want to rest, the ability for thoughts to calm, but that's like a special state, right? So that's what I would say about that. Turning the cat back on, usually just give them food. I was going to remind everyone to turn your cats back on if you turn them off. Just shake the bag of treats and they'll turn right back on. Okay, so now let's switch gears. We're switching gears into the sales pitch for SFDC. And this is where we contact our generosity and our sense of abundance. And I remind you that these meditations are always free. Notice these are just on YouTube. Anyone in the whole world can get these for free anytime they want. And if you are feeling generous, number one, and number two, if you have an abundance of cash, then feel free to use the links that Katie from San Francisco Dharma Collective is putting in the chat window. Use those links and please donate. Please feel free to give Donna to San Francisco Dharma Collective. But only do that if you're both feeling generous and you have it to give. And if you're feeling generous and you don't have it to give, then just beam some generosity at SFDC from your heart. Beam some generosity towards me from your heart. We love even the thought of generosity, even the mood of open-heartedness, kindness, caring, love. It's very nice, right? So feel free to share that and always partake of these meditations completely for free. So yeah, we love SFDC. Even the virtual SFDC continues to thrive, so feel free to donate to them. And of course, also I have my Patreon. All right, so let's keep that open-heartedness, keep the generosity, keep the mood of sharing and togetherness. And let's meditate a little bit more, just a couple minutes, just silently, without me flapping my gums. And let's do that all together now. This will be very short. Boy, you all were beaming some amazingly awesome, powerful, sweet energy there. It always makes me intensely happy to do these guided meditations. Thank you so much for showing up week after week. I hope you have a wonderful, fabulous, fantastic tomorrow and rest of your week. And I'll see you all again. Bye-bye.